Okay, welcome back to part 2 of my journey down the rabbit hole with ball pythons. I realized in the first video this was gonna, too much for people to watch in one hit. I know I don't like to click on videos that are longer than 10 or 15 minutes about information on snakes or so on and so forth. Unless I'm watching someone like Kevin McCurley from Nerd, I can watch that guy all day long. I think that is probably the most impressive authority on ball pythons, reticulated pythons, snakes, animals, anything to do with reptiles. That guy's incredible. I spend hours watching his content on YouTube. Nerd, New England Reptile Distributors. That guy he's on another level. Anyway, I'm off topic. So I got that ball python for Max, my son. Learned how to keep them, and then obviously that involved a lot of research, so on and so forth. Dived down the rabbit hole, decided, hey, I'd like to get a male. Now, naturally, being an idiot, first time snake owner, I was thinking I want to put the male and the female together in the same tank. In a tank, not a tub. Tank like that. Everything would be great. So I get up to someone that actually knows what they're doing, and they're like, listen dude, you can't keep them together. You have to keep them separate, and you only put them together when it's breeding time, And I'm like, oh, I've got to buy another tank now, I've got another hard, another heat mat, another thermostat, and blah, blah, blah. So I thought to myself, and then he was talking to me about his breeding, and I went into his snake room. He had this full-on snake room, wall-to-wall racks, hundreds of snakes, hundreds of ball pythons. And then he started explaining the process of what it entails to breed ball pythons. One male can pair up with anywhere between 1 and 10 females. I'm gonna go out on a limb, even though I'm new to the industry. I think 10 females are too much. I think, and I've been breeding now since April. It is now October, so not a year. But when I tell you that I've put in the hours and studying, learning, watching, researching, talking to my close friend now, who's my mentor and the #1 guy I go and buy snakes from. I didn't know him before I bought snakes, and now I know him so he's become a very close friend of mine. Just bouncing questions off him. Shame I must have irritated the hell out of the oak, but he's such a cool oak, and what he's probably been asked 1,000 times from selling snakes. He never loses his patience with me, at least, and he'll also answer my questions, and he's guided me through the last couple of months. So I haven't just been one of those guys that have done this and done no research. So I may not have notched up years on my belt, but I've notched up a fair amount of hours learning from really, really top breeders all over the world. There are lots of channels where there's guys that you can just see, you watch the first 2 minutes and you go, I'm not even going to listen to this guy. Then you get onto some YouTube channels and you see the guy's setup and you see who he is. And I'm new to YouTube videos, so I don't want to name drop, but there are guys out there. You go and see how many followers they've got, and you watch the content. And if you've got 2 brain cells to rub together, you're going to be able to tell, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to be probably a good ratio of 1 male to 4 or 5 females. I think that's quite safe. Doesn't put too much pressure on the male. Lock them up every 48 hours, once a week, something like that. So I went in with the intention of going to go get maybe a couple of females, from this breeder, a male, and maybe another 3 females to breed. 65 later, over the 6, 7, 8 months. When I saw the potential of breeding these snakes, and of course, a lot of people, when they talk about breeding ball pythons, I see everybody skirting around the money side of it. There's some guys that don't. There's some guys that are very out there and saying we're doing this to make money. One of my main reasons to get into this hobby, it was to make money. Okay, I developed a bit of a passion for the snakes. I loved the snake that I bought for my son. I thought, hey, this is something we can do. Then it got to, hey, this is something I can do, and maybe make a few extra bucks on the side, nothing too big. But those who know, when you start diving down the rabbit hole, that rabbit hole does not end. There's no bottom to the ball python rabbit hole. I've discovered that. You see the one thing and then you get it, and just now you see something else on Morph Market, or your friend tells you about this and they've got this coming in that clutch, and then you see that snake, and obviously it's all brand new to you, and so you're seeing it for the first time. And I want that snake, I want that gene, and everything's visual at the moment. You're looking at a snake that's wow, it blows your mind and it's visual. So there's like, you can dive deep down that rabbit hole. Then you start looking at the money side of it, okay? And if you've a bit of a businessman and you can see a business opportunity, and I went onto the various snake selling websites and I started looking and researching which snakes sell, which don't, which are low price, medium, high price, super high end snakes, and then also why they're priced that way. Obviously, the super high end snakes take much longer to produce, and obviously supply and demand. So I thought to myself, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I want to try and focus. Obviously, I didn't have a hell of a lot of extra money. We've been going through COVID. I own my own business, and I had to shut my business down for a couple of months, and it was then that I started thinking about, I want to do something to have a secondary income where I don't have to rely just on this company, because something. And I stumbled upon ball pythons by mistake, just by buying my son a Christmas present, and then it just hit me one night. I was like, whoa, hang on a second, I could actually do this from home myself. If it's on a small scale, no help. It's going to take work. Definitely takes work. People don't think that this doesn't take work, okay? I even breed my own rodents, and that in itself is another whole job. So after work, every single day and every single weekend, I'm in the snake room, cleaning, doing whatever, changing water. Yeah, so I did this, and I developed a passion for the snakes, but I also did it as an investment. I want to make money off it. It's as simple as that. You cannot make money off it if you sell crap, okay? Or you sell what everybody else is selling, okay? You have to build up a reputation. People have to trust you, and it's like, I know a whole bunch of reputable snake breeders now in my area, but I promise you, when I want to buy a snake, the first person that I'm phoning is the guy that I've bought 95% of my snakes from, because I've built up a relationship with him and I trust him. He will not sell me a bad snake. And he's honest with me. He will not lie about hets, genetics, the sex, anything. I mean, I've heard horror stories out there. In the last 8 months that I've been studying ball python breeding, I've read and watched the content on YouTube and social media, the good and the bad. And I've seen the bad. I didn't know there could be bad in this industry, and there are some bloody criminals out there that will tell you it's a triple hit and a double hit, and then you just go and buy it thinking 5 years later you have improved it out. So rule number one before you do this, and as I say, this content is for the new hobbyist breeder that want to breed and maybe make a little bit of money on the side. Don't give up your day job just yet, because this is livestock, and just like any animal, it can die. Things can go wrong. You've go and invest a couple of $100,000 in a project, or a couple of thousand if you're talking US dollars and pounds. In South Africa, where I'm from, our currency is worth jack shit. It's like 1 rand is 20 pounds. Sorry, 1 pound is 20 rand. Okay, So with to get £1, UK pound, I got to spend 20 rand, and it's like 15 rand to $1. So when I talk about spending 100,000 rand, that's $15,000 or 10,000 pounds. Okay, so on a scale for me, I've invested well over 100, close to 200,000 rand in setting up my ball project. And that includes the enclosures, the thermostats, the racks for the rats, the rodents that I'm breeding. That all came a couple of months later, because you got to feed these snakes, and the more you've got, the more you've got to feed them, and you're buying rats the whole time. And I was like, shit, every single month I was looking at it. Damn, I'm spending a lot of money on food. You must understand that I haven't bred one snake yet, and I haven't sold one snake yet. And every single way I'm buying substrate, and those guys that keep snakes, it's not just put the snake in the tank and forget about it, So, where are we sitting now? 11 minutes. I'm going to wrap this up in 4 minutes, and then I'm going to head to part 3. Buying your ball python setup, okay, rack system, reputable breeder, a guy that will not shaft you, okay, and you can go onto Morph Market and you can look and you can see who are the guys that are in your area. There's Morph Market Europe, there's Morph Market America, USA, and there's Morph Market South Africa. That's what I've seen on Morph Market, but I believe they're all over the place. I actually did not know that ball pythons, first of all, even existed, and B, that they were the most sold pet snake in the world. No clue. So yeah, I'm very stoked that I got into this hobby, and I've developed a hell of a passion for it. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up with that now, and in part 3 I'm gonna discuss well, after I finish this video, I'm going to think about all my editing that I'm going to do, because it's getting late and it's a Sunday night, and I've had a bit of a brain fart now, so I actually don't know what I want to fucking talk about. But anyway, let me think about some content for the next one. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.